Most of us here today don't have to choose between buying groceries or paying our rent bill, but many people do. No one should have to make that choice. That's why Aon is continuing after 25 years plus to continue to do what we do, which is try to provide quality, affordable places people can call home for themselves in our community. I'm honored to stand here today with many of you out there that are partners, many of you that engaged in a variety of ways to help make this place, the Renaissance Box, happen. Taking a struggling building. Who here was through this building before we actually started renovating it? Yeah, so you know what it looked like before we started. And if you've been through today, the transformation is tremendous. This building, the Renaissance Box, represents an important step in Aon's efforts to produce sustainable assets for this community. As an organization, we talk about we want to be around here for 100 years, 150 years. We're pretty sure that 100 years from now, there'll still be people needing decent, safe places to call home. We have taken a 100-year-old building here and hopefully turned it into one of those sustainable assets. Not an easy thing to do, but the right thing to do. It's the only thing that all of us should be doing. We must have sustainability as a focus. It's one of our core values at Aon, has been for quite a few years now. And we have a lot of partners, the City of St. Paul and a whole bunch of other folks that help make this happen.
And once I got down here and I have seen the transformation that has taken place in downtown St. Paul, it definitely became a place that I really wanted to live. And what I'm told by some friends, this is the cool factor that living down here now, that to live in a loft near Lower Town, and in this part of town in particular, a lot of people who do live in the burbs and some of the smaller communities in St. Paul are now quite envious. This building is far exceeding any expectations I could have in living in St. Paul because most of the housing is very old. And this is very modern, very new. I love the fact that it's green. I have no excuses now not to exercise. There's a fitness room down in the basement. There's plenty of laundry facilities, and so getting back on my feet financially with my daughter as a single parent, to have a building like this to call home just has been so wonderful, and I look forward to living here many years to come. So thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Appreciate that. I'd like now to introduce a representative from one of our key partners. As a matter of fact, the partner who is basically the hub of all affordable housing that gets done in the state of Minnesota. Without this partner, it basically doesn't get done. One of the leading housing agencies in the country, the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency. Please welcome Marcia Cole.
Well, thank you, Alan, and it's so great to hear from somebody that's joined the community here and your testament to affordable housing. Minnesota Housing is so excited to be a partner with Aon on this development of the adaptive reuse of the O'Donnell Shoe Company. It is a testament to what can be done with partners together. Minnesota Housing is committed to the prevention and ending of long-term homelessness. So this is a key development to help with that progress. Aon, along with a number of our housing partners, has been working hard on the state initiative to end long-term homelessness. And I'm proud to say that we have actually been able to develop over 2,600, I almost said 2,600, 3,600 housing opportunities for homeless. So for this development, I mean, that is a huge accomplishment. So of these 70 units that we'll have, that you're experiencing and touring today, 14 of them will be serving this population. And what's great about this is that they're integrated into the community and they'll obtain the case management that's necessary for them to be successful. Aon is recognized as a great property manager, and this development is exactly the type of development that we need to address homelessness.
What a wonderful occasion this is. Aon has breathed new life into this wonderful place, the historic O'Donnell Shoe Company building. Originally built in 1914 at a cost of $65,000. It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in August of 2009. The building tells the story of a once prominent early 20th century shoe industry in St. Paul. Designed by the Butler Brothers Company of St. Paul, utilizing the Turner system of concrete mushroom columns, it was a modern building to serve a flourishing industry. The O'Donnell Shoe Company was a significant leader in St. Paul's early 20th century shoe industry. The new factory contributed to St. Paul's 1928 ranking as the largest shoe manufacturer in the state, producing a staple of shoes and boots, as well as novelty women's shoes. And this building tells that story. It tells the story of a thriving industry during a period of increasingly larger firms, complete mechanization in a modern, open-plan building, a diverse product line, and participation in a national market. What a great story, and how wonderful that this place has been so wonderfully preserved so that it can continue to tell that story for generations.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having a tent. I've done like 4 outdoor events today, and my pasty white Irish skin needs the shade. We are very appreciative of that. Thank you, Alan. I want to congratulate Aon for their amazing job here of taking this building that we're celebrating the opening of and just fitting it into the fabric of the downtown area. It just looks like it's been here forever. It's, you know, it looks like the buildings across the street. Just absolutely remarkable. You know, it was a few years ago. It was actually, I think, Al, you might be able to tell me, 11 years ago, this month probably, that we broke ground on the first of the buildings that have transformed the North Quadrant into this vibrant community. And so we kind of come full circle here today with the resurgence of this building, the reclamation of it, as David Kelleher just reminded me. The greenest building is the one that's already built. It is an incredibly important thing to preserve old buildings. I love it from the historic preservation standpoint. That is an absolutely important ethos of the city of St. Paul, but it is also an important part of our environmental piece to be able to reclaim these buildings, reuse them, and put them to good use. Tell a couple of stories. First of all, it was my wife was having an open house. She's a real estate agent, and there was a couple from a suburb that shall not be named, Minneapolis. No, actually, it really wasn't. It was an eastern suburb. And they came in, and they were, I don't know why they came in, but they were complaining about the fact that we were building light rail in downtown. And they said, you know, we don't know why they're putting light rail into downtown St. Paul anyways. There's nothing happening down there. Now, my wife's a much nicer person than I am, so she didn't punch the people because I would have had a hard time swallowing that. But she said, well, have you ever been to the farmer's market? And they said, well, yeah, we were just there yesterday. And in true Yogi Berra fashion, they said it was just so crowded, we could hardly move. I thought you just said that there was nothing happening there. And so Connie started to list off all of the different things that have occurred in downtown St. Paul. You know, have you seen some of the new housing down there? Have you been to Barrio, Bulldog, Bin, Faces? Have you been to Lenny Russo's new restaurant? Have you been to any of the new shows that are happening at some of the theaters down there? Have you been to, I mean, just kind of listing all these things. And these people just kind of, it was like they were describing a land that they had never been to. Those of us that have been part of this community for years, those of us that have helped reshape it and rebuild it, understand what has occurred here. The story that Grace told earlier was really a story of a neighborhood, that you can live in a community, work just a few blocks away from it. Your daughter can go to school just a few blocks away from it. You can shop, whether it's at Eisenberg's or soon, Lund's in downtown. The fact that you can go out to dinner, the fact that you can go up to Jaime's Haberdashery and get a Jaime's Haberdashery suit, by the way. It's time for a new one. I buy one once every decade, whether I need it or not. But you know, there's all kinds of things that are doing here that, quite frankly, a decade ago you could not have done in downtown St. Paul. But there were always people that believed in it. Wei-Ming Lu, Wei-Ming is here. You know, folks that have been part of holding this dream for a long time. Our great staff at PED, Cecile Bedore, our Planning and Economic Development Director, in particular Al Carlson and Diane Norquist on this project that have been so helpful. Councilmember Dave Thune, who has, in all of his years of service representing downtown, really believed that this is a place where people can live, work, and play, and all of the pieces that needed to come together. But it is really a remarkable story, and I'm so proud to be a part of it. This is an exciting time. I just kind of give you a couple of things that I have done just today, whether it was going to the food trucks on Kellogg Avenue and seeing the crowds of people that are flocking there, thinking about some of the jobs programs that we announced today with the Port Authority, a $300,000 grant to teach people how to work on brownfield reclamation. That's about getting people back to work, reclaiming buildings like this, looking at the construction of the Central Corridor, the reconstruction of the Lafayette Bridge. There's just so many things that are going on here. It is a really powerful testament to the spirit and the determination of so many folks in this community. But think about it. All of these things that are happening at one of the worst economic times in the history of this country. They're happening in spite of the challenges that we face across this country and across the globe. If we can work here, creating great music opportunities on Thursday nights in Mears Parks, if we can continue to create the vibrancy in this community through these challenging times, if we can create new homes for Grace and her daughter and for the other folks that will live in this building, the brightness of the future for the city of St. Paul is almost overwhelming. As the song goes, the future is so bright we have to wear shades. The future is now, but if you look out into the future, it is even brighter. There are some wonderful things happening in this community. Thanks to all of the partners that have made this possible. Congratulations to Aon, the resurgence of the Renaissance Box, and all of the resurgence that happened in this community. Thank you very much, Alan, and everybody else.